Welcome back to another episode of In the Lawn with Seth on my YouTube channel, Something with Seth. Many of you have already put two and two together that I am Seth, but for those of you out there that thought I was going to say I am the Walrus, hit that subscribe button right now. You're really going to enjoy the content on this channel. And today I'm going to be starting Midnight Kentucky Bluegrass indoors. I'm going to explain why I'm doing that, how I'm going about that, and when I can expect to have these plugs in my turf. So for those of you that have ever overseeded with Midnight Kentucky Bluegrass, or any bluegrass for that matter, you understand it not only takes so long for that seed to germinate, but once the seed's germinated, it really takes a long time to get things going. This Midnight Kentucky Bluegrass can take up to 30 days to germinate and 8 to 12 weeks before it's fully established. Compare that to a fescue or perennial rye, which germinates within 7 or 10 days, and within a few weeks, it's completely filled in. But the main reason I'm starting these plugs indoors is last November, I put down this Lesko Stonewall. It's a pre-emergent in the form of prodiamine. I will be putting an application of that down this spring, so overseeding is off the table for me. And if you guys are applying any product this spring that is marketed as crabgrass control or crabgrass preventer, overseeding for you this spring is not an option. I was able to find these 2-inch diameter Jiffy plugs on Amazon. I will link those in the description below, along with this Proplugger tool that you guys have seen me use in the past. With both these being 2-inch diameter, this is going to be really efficient for me to put these plugs in my turf this spring compared to what it was last August. For the soil, I'm using the Scott's Lawn soil. I've used this for many years. If you guys have a bare spot in your lawn that you need to seed this spring, I recommend using this. You're really going to be happy with the results. Once the soil is in the pots, you can just grab a handful of grass seed and put it in that way. But one thing I found is I found this old spice container. And it helps me get a more even application. Once the seed is on the soil, water in. Guys, before we go any further, there is one thing I do want to point out. If you guys are using a spice container like this, just make sure you dispose of it when you're done, because it really looks a lot like parsley and garlic. I would really hate for someone to confuse it for a dry rub and use it on their lamb chops. And for those of you that have been following my YouTube channel since its inception in 2021, you guys may have noticed some tropical plants out in my landscape. I do have LED lights to keep those going in the winter here in Northwest Ohio, so I will be putting my grass plugs under those LED lights. But if you guys don't have LED lights, you could put this in front of a window. If you have adequate sunlight coming from the south, just rotate those every couple days and I think it'll work out good. So when can I expect to have these plugs in my turf? It really depends on how long it takes to germinate. I'm thinking I can get it to germinate within 14 to 18 days. And then once it gets through, so I am glad I hit the snooze on uploading this video. 9 days after I planted that grass seed, I had solid germination. In 2 weeks today, I have plugs that are 1.5 to 2 inches tall. So a few factors that played into this: they were under the LED lights for 8 hours a day. The Scott's Lawn soil, it's good soil. It's basically compost with starter fertilizer added to it. And one thing with me watering these with tap water, I was able to adjust the temp of that water. So an hour before the lights went on in the morning, I would water it with water ranging from 70 to 75 degrees. And I think that helped mimic those warm afternoons and cool evenings that grass seed loves so much to grow. So going forward, I think I'm just going to trim these up with the Remington. Take probably a 1/2 inch off or so every 3 or 4 days. I'll do that over the course of the next 4 to 5 weeks, and as things warm up out here, I will acclimate these to the elements outside. So I'm thinking I can have these plugs in my turf about the middle of April. So I will have a video when I do that, and make sure you guys hit that notification bell because I have fresh content coming up shortly that's going to help take your lawn to the next level. So leave a comment, like this video, and subscribe if you haven't. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you next time.